Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Grumble and we're back today with another entry in our Deathloop lore series. I wanted to delve deeper into the backstories of our esteemed visionaries, and so I just went and did. In this series, each week I'll give you the inside scoop on the characters, tidbits and trivia you might have missed. Obviously, be aware that these videos are filled with spoilers for the game's critical path, as well as side quests. With this video, we finally arrived at our two leads. Up first, Julianna Blake, AEON Head Archivist, and now, due to circumstances entirely unforeseen, acting Head of Security. Juliana was born in 1938 or 1939. Thanks to Operation Horizon, we actually have a timeline for her. She's AEON's Archivist, now Head of Security for as however long as Colt has misplaced his marbles. Colt's notes about her tell us that she's a bookworm who can handle her liquor, get you a girl who can do both, coolest librarian around. She is, of course, the daughter of Colt and Lila Blake, but Colt was absent for most of her life and her mother died when she was still a kid, or definitely no older than 19 years old. She's in her early 20s when the loop begins. There's no concrete information on how she found the AEON program, only that it just so happened that she passed an impossible test set by Igor and Wenji to assess candidates. She chose Berezin's manor, he was the commanding officer of Operation Horizon, as her living space and had it redecorated according to her taste. The AEON archival office is her workplace, but she's not to be found in either. Fun fact, Lila and Colt used to have word competitions, so the smarts are definitely genetic. Juliana herself remarks that she is a lot like her mother, and from an obituary we learn that after retiring from active service, she worked as a page in the National Library, very likely introducing Juliana to her love of books. It's unclear whether the other visionaries know that Colt is her father, as it's something I think Colt would have classed as a weakness worth including in the LPP, though I'd bet that Frank knows. Upon joining AEON, Juliana realized who Colt is. He had no idea initially, so she might have broken the news to him, however gently. It's unknown how or when, or whether Colt twigged when he learned her last name. They definitely talked about it, though there's no correspondence confirming this to be found in the game. There's just subtext and hints in their interactions over radio, such as Juliana giving Colt shit about hitting on her when they first met, and he had no idea who she was. As he didn't age for 15 years, he wouldn't have realized that he is old enough to be her dad. There is a warmth to their interactions, even when Colt does not actively remember. It's awkward, but it's warm. Colt says he's trying to break the loop to give her a better life, but more on his motives next week. The trouble is that in order to give her that better life, he has to kill her a bunch first. Juliana, who probably didn't know what to expect from Colt as a father to begin with, was deeply hurt when he began breaking the loop, which includes, lest we forget, violently murdering her. It's even likely and implied that he started with her, since she would have been least protected and thus the easiest target. And not only that, but she trusted him. She and Frank were probably the only ones. Juliana's slab, Masquerade, illustrates this as well. It's a defensive ability, albeit the one that lasts the longest because it doesn't drain her power reserves. This way, Juliana could potentially hide from any threat for much longer, leaving decoys of herself for an attacker to take aim at. This protects her very efficiently, but as Colt knows her very well and will know what to look for, it's going to be least effective against him. The longer this went on, the more Juliana turned to fighting Colt with the same methods, learning how to kill and eventually becoming an equal adversary to her father. Their relationship is complicated. During the radio calls, Juliana says they were friends once, and that Colt cared about her. Little is known on how much she knew about her father's life before actually meeting him, but Lila definitely told her about him before she died. She resents Colt for abandoning Lila, whether she knows he had no idea of the pregnancy at the time he first disappeared or not. She also accuses him of having commitment issues and running away from those who care about him when the going gets tough. And it's true. Colt wants to run back to 1938, the year this all began. Although this means he wants to go back in order to be there for Lila and their child, Juliana sees him altering time like this as a betrayal of the person she is now. She doesn't ever want to leave Black Reef and calls it the only special place in an entire world of shit. Colt remarks, somebody got hurt real bad, and she did, but not just by Colt leaving her mother behind inadvertently. This isn't a stereotypical dad walked out scenario. Juliana's feelings for Colt are more complex than that. She says, "I don't like watching you die. I like killing you. There's a difference." She doesn't enjoy watching Colt suffer, though the opening cinematic might beg to differ, but she finds twisted satisfaction of a job well done in preventing him from breaking the loop. Overall, I'd say, such anger is only found in someone who cares about you first. Juliana has also found a memory technique to keep from sundowning, so she has had a lot of time to study not just how Colt fights, but how he thinks and puts things together. On the list in her library, she documents possible Colt reactions after waking up on that beach, including rolling over and going back to sleep. Colt's actions have deeply wounded and to an extent traumatized her. She's a bookworm, not a soldier, but she's had to learn. And somewhere down the line, she learned to enjoy it. Her announcements over the speakers and her reactions to Colt on the radio occasionally make her seem unhinged, though I'd argue that's entirely in line with the sense of invincibility that the immortality grants just about everyone on Black Reef, including Colt. He certainly displays the same kind of callousness towards everyone he kills over and over and over and over and over and over again. But Juliana cares for Colt even after all that, and for AEON. Her last line of defense is her own presence at the core. Her final ace is that, one-on-one, Colt won't be able to hurt her again. Her plea is that no one will forgive Colt if he breaks the loop, that she will never forgive him. And then, even if Colt does break the loop, she can't bring herself to kill him on the beach. If he doesn't break the loop, they strike up their friendship again. Still awkward, but definitely warm. Juliana does what she has to do to achieve her goals, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have regrets. Still, she's pragmatic. Of all the bridges she had to burn to get to Black Reef, she writes in her 62nd-minute interview there's only one she wishes didn't have to go. I wonder whether that's having to leave her mother's memory behind. Juliana doesn't really give two shits about the Eternalists or Visionaries unless the loop is threatened. She tells Colt that she's killed some of the Visionaries herself for amusement. Comments she makes while playing as Juliana confirm this. She originally wanted to live indefinitely in order to be able to read all the books. I wonder, with being able to remember, she'd run out at some point, no? As AEON's archivist, it's also her job to objectively record everything that happens with AEON, Black Reef, and the Anomaly. She's considered a leader by the Eternalists. All their greetings are cheerful and deferential, when they're barely ever nice to each other. Juliana is one of 3 individuals on Black Reef who are naturally capable of retaining their memories across loops. Why is unknown. She mentions learning the memory compression technique at about 140 years into the loop. It's unclear whether she experienced sundowning at any point before that. She's able to describe to Colt what it feels like to forget, though, so that suggests she started forgetting and then made an effort not to. The Motherland spies gave her the codename Eye Strain. Her standard outfit is supposed to let her move fast and be agile while camouflaging her easily, and of course there's her slab, which means you have to pay close attention to everyone around you while she's hunting. In the end, Juliana banks on Colt not being able to kill her yet again. When locked into that duel, she doesn't pull the trigger either. And even when Colt wakes up with the barrel of her gun against his temple, she can't do it. Colt is exasperated that that is her grand plan, playing on his emotions. But it works, doesn't it? Some trivia. For reasons unknown, she hates being called Julie. She tolerates Frank calling her Miss J or Miss Blake. Judging by some past interactions between her and Colt, she's aware of their relationship, at the very least their close friendship. Based on a conversation with Colt, Juliana might be asexual. Either that, or Juliana just doesn't get along with the kind of anonymous lust/love thing that the AEON program encourages, rather than genuine romantic involvement. And that, my friends, is all about Juliana. I love her so much. She's the perfect co-lead for this game. Juliana and Colt's chemistry, and that of their incredibly talented voice actors, 100% makes this game for me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and leave a comment on your way out. It's really much appreciated. If you want to support my channel, check out my Patreon at patreon.com/AnnaMarabella or my Ko-fi page at ko-fi.com/grumble. You can either donate or become a monthly subscriber, receiving access to my writing and videos before everyone else, including the inside track about what I'm working on and what's coming up next this month. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss what's next in this series. Also, check out my Deathloop videos, both live streams and Let's Play episodes, my recently completed Dishonored 2 Let's Play, and more lore videos. All of these playlists are on screen now. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fulfilling day.